Rightio, go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to At the Picnic, Season 3, Episode 16. We've got the wonderful Peter from Buchan here on the show today because they got their cup on the weekend, but we're going to speak to him shortly. Firstly, very quickly, we're going to go through Woolamite, Danny. What a fantastic day, and my goodness, the crowd. How good was it?
Evidently, they only got sort of between the 2 and the 3,000, but I
Oh,
just
it's
say,
even
being
more than
there
that.
and hearing them roar, it felt
Oh,
like there would have been 5 or 6,000 people
yeah.
there. It was an absolute ripping crowd. The weather turned a little bit dodgy later in the day. There was a bit of misty drizzle and that hung around, but got to say, everybody was packed in and had a great day, and it was just brilliant. The atmosphere was super. Great days of racing. It was just a really good, fun packed day with great weather for having a beer or two and having a punt. And yeah, it was good fun. Great day
Abs-
out. And great to
Absolutely.
see him get up. He's been a ripping horse over the last couple of seasons. It was really, really good. David and David Noonan and Jackie and Sophie have ridden a lot through the picnics and that sort of thing. Obviously, Sophie rode Hawkstone, so she didn't get the victory on him, but she's had so many victories on that horse through so much of the season. It was just a really well deserved
Well
day
done.
and
Well
cup
done.
one for them.
And well done to Peter Foster. He's on fire. They got a double. Lee Taylor
Yeah,
got a treble. Now, I
treble,
just quickly want to go
which
through.
included the cup, obviously, too.
It did, so well done to him. Just quickly, we haven't gone through any of the premierships. I'm going to quickly do it. So the jockeys, we've got Sean Cooper, 21, Grant, second, 17, and Lee Taylor's now on 16. And of course, Grant not riding anymore. So,
Right.
so Lee
Yeah,
might catch up to Sean. So interesting to see what happens there with the trainers. Troy
he will
Kilgour,
be.
13. Yep.
Lee will be doing his utmost to chase him down as hard as he possibly can. So it's going to be a tussle all the way through to the end.
Absolutely. With the trainers, Troy Kilgour 13, Peter Foster 10, Don Dwyer 8. But can I say, Peter Foster's strike rate, 34.5%. That's amazing
Yep.
considering the small stable he's got.
Yep, he only ever has about half a dozen or so in work at any one time. So Pete and Dan, they do a great job of their horses. They always look fantastic. So it's really, really good to see them having a continued good season. Often they start well and they don't necessarily have the horses to follow through to the end of the season. But this year they really seem to be able to continue that momentum that they started off with so well every other year. So it's great to see them have such a great season.
Absolutely. And just in saying that too quickly, we better thank their son Seb because he tells me he does a lot of the hard work. So we'll say good on you, Seb. We can get a pat on the back too. And his girlfriend.
Yep, they do a great job. And one
They
of their
do.
mates has been taking some great photos of their team at the picnics as well. As we all know, there's quite a few different people that get along to the picnics. We often share photos from Neil Murray, who takes some amazing photos. Holly, who
Yep.
owns our Dorney, she gets along and takes some ripping photos. Tassie Egan's does a fantastic job. She
Yes.
takes photos not only at the picnics, but she often comes out to track work and takes photos as well. So some of these guys, it is just a hobby in that forum, but we can actually log onto their site, onto Tassie's site, and we can actually purchase photos from her as well. So
You can.
people don't realise that there's a lot of side hustles that go on from these little things that go on. So by all means, go and check them out and get in touch with them if you're after any photos too.
Good on you. Well said. So let's introduce Peter. Peter, welcome to the show, mate. We're all excited. We've got the Buchan Cup this weekend. Of course, you only had the one meeting a year. Been a little bit of a worry by a few people on the weather, and you've had a bit of rain. So tell us from the horse's mouth, mate, how's the track looking, and are we a goer for Saturday?
Well, at the moment, the track is in perfect condition. The rain has softened it up. Normally, we've got to run the aerator over it to loosen it up to make it a soft track for the horses. But no, with the rain we've had, it's actually made a perfect track condition. The
Absolutely.
worry is the rain that's supposed to be coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
But,
As
fingers
I've said
crossed
to
it won't be
everyone, it's
much.
got to land yet, and it hasn't landed yet. So we're crossing our fingers for you. But I reckon you guys would have a great grass cover up there this year with the weather that has been floating around.
Yeah, yeah. No, we've had a wet summer, so the track's got a ripping grass cover on it, probably the best it's been. So yeah, and with this rain, it's sort of taken the sting out of the ground. So it's at the moment the track's as good as you'd want it. So
Great.
fingers crossed it
Can't
stays
wait
that
to
way.
see it.
Great to hear, Pete. We'll be there, mate. I'll bring me gum boots just in case, mate. But we'll be there, mate. So, um, what's happening on the day, mate? Have you got any events happening between the races?
Well, we have the footballers' gift over 100 metres. That's a well contested event, and this year we're running a ladies' one as well, just to keep the
Nice.
peace.
Can we
Yeah,
punt on
and
that?
then you can between one another, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm tipping the
Or you
boys
might
would be
find a
having
bookmate.
having a bet on a couple of beers or bundies as to who's going to beat who home from which footy club too, just quietly.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a pretty contested event. Yeah.
Which footy
It
clubs
is.
are competing?
We've seen the footy boys get out there, and I tell you what, they let rip down that straight, and they're pretty serious about it too. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, it's a good event. It's a serious event too. It's a memorial event held in honour of one of our footballers that passed away. So it's sort of, pretty important and serious event. Yeah. Then we've got the other, like the kids' lolly scrambles and show bags for the kids and fashions on the field, of course.
Oh, well, we know who might be coming for that. We'll have a
God knows
chat.
your Kermit's going to make an
Yeah,
appearance by the
I was.
sounds of that.
I
Look out.
wasn't too sure whether there was a fashions on the field, but no, he's got all excited now. Just with that footy sprint, Pete, what clubs are competing?
Well, of course, we've got our local Buchan football club, the Cavemen,
Yep,
and a few competitors from Orbost,
yep.
Orbost Snowy Rovers. Then there'll be a few from the Bansdale clubs. Um, yeah.
Ah, fantastic, mate. And they'll have their footy jumpers on, obviously, so we'll know who they're representing.
Well, normally we just dress them up they all got to wear a caveman footy jumper. So they're all running the one jumper. So.
Was it you guys one year and that you gave them all hobby horses to gallop down on as well?
No, we didn't do that to them.
Oh, there was one of the high country meetings, and I'm sure they came out on hobby horses. It was quite entertaining.
Could have been Hinamunji. They could do something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. It was Hinamunji, come to think of it. I reckon we were all trying to snuffle a hobby horse home. My daughter, I sent photos of it, and she's like, "Where's my hobby horse?" I'm like, "You can't have one. I can't steal it. You can't have it. Sorry, kid."
That's very funny.
Not that I would steal anything. Sorry, just saying.
Now, Pete, if people are thinking of coming up, mate, I did read that there's a shuttle bus that leaves Bairnsdale Station to go up there. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's two buses. One runs from Bansdale and the other one runs from Lakes Entrance.
Yep.
And I believe they're all booked up at the moment. And then they drop off at Canai and then head into town and pick up the Buckanites and bring them out.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, plenty. And the Orbost crew normally run a bus from Orbost as well.
That's fantastic, mate. How many people do you usually get approximately?
Well, 1,200 to 1,500. I think we had 1,500 last year was probably our best crowd since our fire meeting, which was well supported. But yeah, around the 1,500. If we can get between 12 and 1,500, we'd be real happy. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And of course, there's a big car park as well if people want to drive up themselves.
Oh, yeah. We've got great car parking area. Yeah. Plenty of
Tractors
room.
available to pull anyone out who park in the mud patches too, just quietly.
Get the tractor ready.
Yeah.
They've even had to pull a bus or two out at times as well, I remember. Everything happens up the mountain, Paul. You haven't experienced it until you've been up the hill.
This sounds good. And so, Peter, tell us, what's one of your most memorable moments of Buchan racing? You've been involved for many years. What's one of your most memorable moments?
Well, there's a lot of them, but I suppose my father won the cup one year. He was president and won the cup one year with a horse called In the Act. That was a memorable moment. Yeah. But, cups aren't easy to come by, so
No.
whether you're at the picnics or the professionals, or it's
true.
just as big a thrill whether you get one of the picnics or whether you get one of the professionals. So yeah, that was one memorable moment.
I agree with you, mate. And of course, I got one of mine in the Cup on Saturday, so we'll see how he goes. And he won the Merton Cup a couple of weeks ago, so I know exactly how you feel, mate. Whatever cup it is, it's a thrill. Now, I've got to ask
Yeah.
you, Pete. I always ask you it on the show, and Danny knows. Who's your AFL side, mate?
Ah, I'm a disappointed St Kilda fan.
Oh, you poor man. Everybody's second side,
He
Pete.
has more patience than any of us could imagine.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, everyone's second side, mate.
I'm
Everybody would
still with
love
them.
you.
I'm still with them.
And that draw with Collingwood, mate. How many thousands of Australians were cheering for St Kilda in the last 30 seconds?
That's right. Yeah. 90% of them, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, absolutely, mate. Anyone that wasn't Collingwood.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me, Pete, what's your history with what's with racing, and what do you do up in the high country? You living up that way and stuff. It's obviously not a mate. People down here don't understand what goes into running clubs and stuff up that way and what you guys actually do. Can you give us a bit of insight?
Um, well, I'm attached to the Buchan and Glanby Race Club. My father was the president, so I took over from him when he retired, and his father was the vice president. So the family's always been involved, had race horses back as far as we can remember. Dad had his trainer's license, obviously, and I've never had a trainer's license, but I broke in a lot of thoroughbred horses for different ones that sort of given
We've
the
got the upper
game
hand of not being financially retarded because if you have a trainer's license, it's a guarantee to go broke.
away. Yeah, it's not a good way to fame and fortune, but it's a lot of fun out. You meet a lot of good people, and
Yeah,
that's what life's about, really.
absolutely.
A bit about the money side. If you're in it for the money, well, you're doing it the wrong way about.
You're all up the creek.
Yeah. But no, I've been involved with horses all my life. I actually worked with Racing Victoria as clerk of the course at a couple of the tracks at Bansdale and Sale and a few of the picnic meetings. So it's a good day out. Yeah. No, I love
So are you a part of the camp drafting and polo cross crew that get around up that way? What else do you do with the horses away from racing?
it. Yeah, not really. No, early days I did a bit of camp drafting, never played polo cross, but did a lot of show jumping early days,
Yep.
with pony club and that sort of thing. Yeah, had a few race horses myself. Cliffy Murray trained a couple of them. We had a bit of fun with one of them. He was fairly successful.
Which one was that one?
A horse we called Fire Free. He
I
was
remember him. Yep.
he won a city race at Moonee Valley one night and ran second in a Grand Annual hurdle.
Wow.
And he was just hitting his form, and the bushfires came, and he was home spelling. And after the bushfires, the first thing that grew back were all the weeds, and he got into the weeds and ended up with stringholes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that put an end to his career,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Yep.
But we had a lot of fun out of him while he was going. Yeah,
Yeah, he was. He was a ripper horse, and he did make the odd appearance at the picnics occasionally too. He was a lot of fun, and
yeah,
I think Ange used to ride him from memory as well.
yeah. Ange was his main track rider. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Ange rides a lot of track work for Cliffy, and yeah, Ange could tell you how he was going. He was a little
absolutely.
bit.
She's a good
He was a
judge,
little
that
bit of
one.
a smart aleck at times, but Ange could handle him all right.
Yep. Um, so tell me, did you all lob down to go to the city meeting that he won?
Oh, Cliffy and I went down. Yeah, yep,
Good day
yeah.
out.
At night out at Moonee Valley. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, very exciting. Yeah, makes for a good trip home anyway.
Would have been a late one too.
Yeah, not as late as the trips to the jumps races at Warrnambool though. They were big days.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
That was an 8-hour trip one way.
Wow.
Bloody hell. You're
Did,
definitely keen.
didn't want to stay up there the night?
No, we did stay there one night. We took him over to the Jericho Cup.
Yep.
He qualified for that, and we ran him in the Jericho Cup. He ran fourth. Cliffy had two horses in the Jericho Cup that year, Fire Free and Alienated. They ran
Yep.
fourth and fifth, which
Yep.
was a pretty good effort, I reckon, for
Absolutely. That's a great effort.
Yeah. So even running fourth was a big thrill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a great day out too.
Oh, it was. Yeah, we stayed the night over there, and I forget the name of the pub, but yeah, it was a good night out. Put it that way.
Forget the name of the pub because you had too many, Pete.
Yeah, I don't know what would have happened if he'd have won.
Probably not much different to the one that you had. It just would have been longer.
Yeah. It was all good anyway.
So you were obviously involved with the race club when the fires and that went through. Were you affected at home with the fires that came through? How far from the course are you?
Yeah. I live only a kilometre away, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fires weren't a very pleasant experience. They burnt most of our property out here. We've got property the other side of Buchan that burnt nearly 100% of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just lucky I had my son and his brother-in-law at home with us, and between the three of us, there's three family homes on the property. We saved all them.
Wow, that's a big effort.
Yeah, the main fire front went through the race course about 3 a.m. in the morning when the south change came.
Yep.
And of course, we're busy looking after things here. And about 6 o'clock, I went up to the race course and expecting to see nothing. So it all burnt to the ground. But as luck would have it, the fire sort of went around to one side of it. It burnt most of the track and the winning post and a bit of the judges box. But yeah, a lot of the buildings were unscathed. So that was a bit of a miracle.
After those
I must
fires,
say
Pete.
it was a really eerie drive up there after those fires. It was amazing. Yeah.
After those fires, Pete, you know, because those fires were so bad, it went worldwide, the coverage. And I don't know whether you know, but overseas, they were actually showing the picture of the Buchan racecourse and half the winning post burnt. That was like a famous picture that went worldwide, which I suppose is not a good thing to be famous for, but there you got your name around the world as with half a winning post, mate.
Yeah, we've still got the winning post, by the way. Yeah, we've obviously got a new one for the races, but the half burnt one still, we've propped it up to one side. So just
I was going to say I've had a photo next to that burnt one too.
Yep.
So yeah, it was amazing how the club managed to pick up, dust off, and run the races up there. It was an amazing meeting that day. It was very, very heartfelt and very very unbelievable.
Yeah. The people that came out of the woodwork to help us, like rebuilding the fences and rebuilding the judges box, and the help we had was just unbelievable. We wouldn't have had the event otherwise. The people that came out of the woodwork, like there was 3 retired policemen from Melbourne turned up. They'd retired from the police force and become carpenters. They turned up with all their gear just out of the blue. Never met them before.
Wow.
Oh, fantastic.
What do we do? And just pitched in and built this and built that and dug post holes. And
yes. Country spirit is alive and well in those occasions.
Yeah, yep. Yep, no, they were wonderful people. Haven't seen them since. I'd love to catch up with them and chow them a beer, but yeah.
Well, hopefully they're watching this.
Yeah.
You never know, they might watch it and come up for the races.
That would be awesome. Now, Pete, how did the golf course fare after the fire? Because, there's the club rooms and that.
Yeah, the club room survived.
Okay.
When I got up there at 6 o'clock in the morning, the fire was actually burning towards the club rooms, but just mildly and was pretty easy to put out. So I was able
Okay.
to put it out the fairways. Even though the grass, you can imagine what a golf fairway looks like, but it was still on fire and burning, yeah. But,
Yeah.
yeah, that was all saved, yeah.
That's
Very lucky.
fantastic. Very lucky, mate. Fantastic.
So, Pete, have you still got any interest in any racehorses going around these days?
I've got one in the paddock spelling. He's a 5-year-old by preferment that has been at work and had a few trials, but with rules of racing Victoria, horses over 5-year-old have to go to Ballarat and have a skeletal scan.
Scintigraphy. Yep.
So he's been there and done that and didn't pass it.
Oh.
And was advised to have 3 months off.
Yep.
The prognosis to returning to training was very good, they said. So,
yeah.
So when these races are out of the way, I'll get him back in work and we'll go through the process again. And fingers crossed he'll pass this time.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So who puts the bill for that one? You, or can you get it subsidised?
Racing Victoria subsidised half of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a big expense. Like I think you're talking $3 or $4 grand, but it's
yeah,
half of it subsidised by Racing Victoria. Yeah, it's a pain in the bum.
So these are the same bone scans that the runners for the Melbourne Cup go through. Is that correct?
I'd imagine it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
That's
think
a long
one
trip
of them,
to Werribee for you.
I think one of them didn't pass this year either. I think one English pilot it. Yeah, so it'd be disappointing.
Yeah, one of Aidan O'Brien's from memory, I think it was too.
Yeah.
We've just got 4 minutes left, so we'll bring him in for you, Pete. Here's Kermit, mate. He's got to come now. He's heard there's fashions on the field, mate. He's excited. He's going to come. So, what is there a special event for him? Is there like most humorous couple or something like that?
Well, there could be, but we have a dam in the parade ring that is absolutely full of frogs since we've had the rain.
Oh, so I can leave him there.
They're all chirping and carrying on.
Kermit might find a friend.
Oh, I can leave him there and get rid of him, mate. Is that all right? I'll leave him in your bar.
No, you better take him home with you.
You know what he's
like.
Might
find a friend. You never know.
Never know. So, well, Kermit will be there, mate. I'll bring him, and you can meet him as well, mate. He won't buy you a beer, mate. I tell you, he'll be asking you to buy him one.
Too easy.
Oh, good on you, Pete.
Well, if the races go ahead, I'll shout him one. No worries.
Oh, there you go, mate. You don't expect him to shout you back. All right, Pete. Thanks for joining us, mate. Good luck of everything on Saturday. I hope you don't get too much rain tomorrow, mate. And hopefully, we can hopefully get to, at the very worst, a slow. But what is it rated at the moment? Because it does say a slow 7, but I don't think that's been updated.
Yeah, we've had a ripping day today, like nearly 30 degrees in the north wind, so it's dried out a hell of a lot.
Perfect.
It'll be back to a soft 6 or less.
Oh, that's nice. Good, mate. So good. Fingers crossed we don't get too much rain tomorrow,
mate.
Crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed Mother Nature looks after us. If anyone wants to have a bet with Picnic Bet as to whether the races go ahead or not, that might be a new avenue for them to look at.
Let's speak to Fran about that.
We could also possibly line up whether Kermit gets left at the races or finds a new friend. With the weather that's coming, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
I tell you what, Danny, if he's annoying me, I'm just going to throw him into the females jockey's room and I'm taking off.
No, there's not enough room in the females jockey's room for him as well. Not a chance in Hades. Listen, thanks for catching up with us tonight, Pete. We really appreciate it. Thanks to Picnic Bet. Let's pray to the weather gods that we don't get rained out, and we'll all catch up on Saturday up the hill.
Yep. I'll come up and say hi to you, Pete. Good luck, everybody. Take care, everyone. And as we say, thank you to Picnic Bet. All right. See you on Saturday, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you.